recording that shit. And... Hey, Josh, this is the part where you want to talk right now. Talk right now. Don't talk with your mouth full. That'd be rude, but talk right now.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Josh. I'm here with the Hidden Oaks Overdose Fantasy Football Podcast with my lovely co-host, Garlic Randy the Savage Monster Johnson.
Wow, you got all my names in there. Good job.
I'm done talking for a while.
So Josh, normally the one who used to bitch at me every single time I would eat or, drink on the podcast obnoxiously. This man is currently over here eating pita chips with hummus, possibly the loudest chip in existence. And he's over here with the fucking, I don't know if you think the hummus is working as a dampener or a silencer, but it is not, I promise you.
Well, I wanted to put all the pita chips inside those old school Sun Chip bags from the recycled items, the ones that you could hear open from 10 miles away. You know which ones I'm talking about, or are you too young?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
For those of you out there who know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about.
Wow, that was insightful, Josh. Thank you for that. So as Josh mentioned, we're the Hidden Oaks Overdose Football Fix podcast. We have an email and a Facebook page. If you ever want to reach out to the show, you can do hiddenoaksoverdose@gmail.com, or you can do facebook.com/hoodpod. You'll find us there. If you don't want to listen to the podcast in its entirety, or you're just interested in one or two segments, or you want to skip around, you can find the segment start times in the description below. Our beautiful art was created by one Mr. Levi Oakey. He lives in Indianapolis for some reason. I'm not sure why he hasn't moved or, done something else yet, but that's where he lives. You can find him on Instagram at Levi Oakey Illustration. He does some good work. I don't know why I would admit that, but good for him. How's life, Josh?
Oh, it's good. Just trying to figure out what's going on with my...
Any chance you can get that mic pointed up more? Because, again, you're not talking into the mic. You're talking into what you think is the mic.
Well, it's just all a giant black circle.
Well, I mean, you can see through it.
Oh, would you looky there?
Pretty neat, huh?
Absolutely.
How neat is that?
How's business?
That's I didn't. I mean,
no. Don't worry about it. Because I've got breaking news.
Booming! Show me the money!
Perfect. Speaking of booming, show me the money podcast wars. Did you know that they have a podcast again?
Yeah, it was never canceled. It was just to a reduced schedule. But I heard they're recording tonight.
They are. I just wanted to know if you wanted to start throwing shade and.
Well, I'd love to throw some shade. I heard A-Dub is not on the roster anymore. He got cut.
I don't know if he got cut or if he moved on to bigger and better things.
He retired.
Yeah, because I wouldn't consider getting let go from that podcast a punishment.
Well, I assume Walters isn't doing it solo. Who's the new co-host?
Jack, I believe. He texted me. He wanted me to provide top 2 and bottom 2 teams in the league, and of course I said I haven't looked at the teams, which is somewhat true, but why would I help their podcast by giving them content? Podcast War 2.0.
You fucking say Jack? That's the only... I stopped listening after you said Jack was going to be the new co-host.
Well, I think it's the unofficial league punishment that whoever loses has to... they have to be on the podcast with Walters for the entire next season. And I don't know if Jack lost or not, but we'll just pretend he did for that sake.
Well, I don't want to say they just lost their number one fan, but they might have. We'll see. We'll see. I know Jack's not going to listen to this. I don't give a shit about talking trash to him.
Well, I don't know, because I think Walters assigned him homework to listen to last season just to take notes and jot things down on how to make it better.
These guys are killing us in the ratings. You got to get out there and copy everything they do. When in fact, we've the one who's stolen all their bits. In other non-football news, the ice cream truck came by right as I was getting out of my car coming to Josh's house today, and I got an ice cream treat, so that was cool. But yeah, Is there any NFL news out there, Josh? You don't happen to have a mouthful of pita chip, do you?
Nope, not at all.
God, when I listen back to the pod on the way home every night or every Wednesday. That sounds terrible. Like, I'm not even trying to shit on you right now, but like listening back to that, it hurts my ears. No, you talking with your mouth full. So I mean, I know I made you do it for funny, but I'm just letting you know that that's brutal.
Yeah. NFL news. Zeke got his contract extension. So
Big contract extension,
making him the only Dallas Cowboy to have over $100 million in contract. And then Goff sets the record for most guaranteed money in a contract as well today.
Yeah, a lot of money.
Some would say more than $1.
Would some say more than $1, Josh? Are you sure?
Yes.
Is there any other NFL news out there? Is that all we got?
That's all I got.
I mean, if that's all there is, then that's all we got. We'll be going. We'll be moving up a minute early, Josh. All right.
We took a little bit longer on the chit-chat non-football news, so.
We took exactly 5 minutes. But no, okay, so last week, I said at the beginning we want to do hot takes every week. We did not do a hot take last week, and last week's pod was about the Hidden Oaks Redraft League. Specifically, we did the draft grade, but give me a hot take on the Hidden Oaks Redraft League this year.
Nate is not going to lead the league in trades.
What?
That's the hottest of takes. I think we can retire right now.
All right. So what I got is I don't even know if it's a hot take because we both agreed it was a good team, but I'm thinking Robin will be a participant in the ship. That's going to be my hot take.
All right.
The newbies do well, the women do well. So she's a newbie woman. I think she's just destined to succeed.
Possible.
Yeah. All right. So now a hot take for the regular fantasy season. This week's actual hot take. What do you predict for the fantasy season here? Something spicy. I want something spicy.
Patrick Mahomes is going to score his lowest total points of his career, fantasy-wise.
He played in one game 2 years ago. There's no way that's true.
Well, fine.
He's going to do worse than last year? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's what I meant.
That's not a hot take. That just means he regresses.
Fine. What's your hot take, Gar? I didn't prep for a hot take.
Josh, we were going to do a hot take every week. I put it in the agenda.
Yeah, but I was just hoping you'd do them.
Well, my hot take was, we'll get to it later, but Antonio Brown's going to be wide receiver 1. I don't care about what anyone else says. Everyone's dogging him. You're dogging him. He's going to be wide receiver 1. You guys are overreacting to all the outside off
for
the
the
field
season
stuff. Yeah, like he'll be the number 1 at the end of the year.
No, didn't we do this last week?
No, we did not do hot takes last week.
Are you sure?
I would bet your dick on it.
It's not a lot. Well, all right, because I thought I shouted something at the end.
No, that was 2 weeks ago. You said Melvin Gordon would not play snap this year.
Oh, well, that's my hot take still.
Whatever. I don't care. All right. So those are our hot takes, and we will review those all at the end of the year. So, Josh, Week 1 NFL preview. What are we thinking about the Vikings matchup? Do you have any thoughts before I rant?
Before you, I guess I don't have any thoughts on it. It should be. I think the Vikings are going to win, mostly because they always do well Week 1 to get everybody in Minnesota amped up about 16-0 regular season. Cousins may set a record before he has some sort of virus in his kneecap, like what Bradford did. And then then we'll see what happens for the rest of the year. But I don't know. I think it'll be closer than what the 4-point spread is. I think it'll be a 1-point game where Vikings take the win.
1-point game.
That 1-point game where Atlanta misses an extra point.
Ooh, Matt Bryant. They re-signed him. I like that take. That's a spicy take. So yeah, I mean, all the Vikings fans know it. This is it's not make or break for Zimmer because he'll certainly be back next year unless we go like 0-16. But this is
one could hope.
We made a lot of moves on the off season, and we obviously did not meet expectations last year. So Kubiak's in, Stefanski's in. It's time to put up or shut up. I don't really have any thoughts other than this is a game we should win, unless Atlanta's crazy, crazy good this year, and I don't foresee that. So simply put, this is a game Vikings should win through Dalvin and through Cousins. So we'll see. We'll see what the offense can do. Packers, however, They kick us off tomorrow night, Josh. I'm thinking it's going to be a good game. It's in Chicago. The Packers might be the biggest question mark of the entire NFL season, just because they could finish 4-12. They could finish 12-4. We've already talked about this in length, but I don't want to pick a winner for this game. Can you both tie and not get half a point for it?
You know, I'm sick of ties for the Packers. I think there's been one in the last 3 years. Excuse me. Sorry, I didn't mean to cough into the mic. I apologize, listener. I am excited to see what changes there are, because it sounds like there's going to be a lot more motion, pre-snap adjustments. They're giving Rodgers reign of the offense as well, it sounds like. But I'm excited to see what this team has. I'm more excited for the defense than the offense, to be honest, because all the upgrades on that side of the ball. Jair Alexander, second year, he's a baller. I'm expecting 6 pick sixes this season.
Oh, the season?
Yep.
Okay, that's not crazy. I don't think it'll happen, but that's not crazy.
Oh, no. Here's my hot take.
Okay.
Green Bay is a top 5 defense by the end of the season.
I like that. That's
my
spicy
hot take.
Is that in like actual or in fantasy stats or both or
Actual.
Okay. Interesting. I like that take though.
But as far as tomorrow night goes, I think there's going to be some wrinkles to kind of sort out, kind of figure out, kind of and gel. I believe this is going to be, it'll be a slow start to the season, but we'll have another RELAX type moment and run the table.
And run the table, huh? No homerism at all in there, right?
None.
Completely objective, unbiased.
Completely objective, 100,000% John Madden circling.
I like it. All right. So you think they're going to lose then tomorrow, the Pack?
Probably.
All right. I guess the question mark is that defense, because I don't think the Bears are anything this year. It's just a matter of, are they more nothing than the Packers? I think the Packers will win, but I hate both teams this year, like I said. So, all right, locks and upsets, Josh. Do you want? I know it was kind of it was both of our ideas, but you kind of want to talk about locks and upsets and how we're doing it slightly differently this year.
Hang on.
That sounded good. You didn't hear it in your ear, but that sounded good.
Locks and upsets brought to you by Spotted Cow.
Ooh. All right.
Just got to get a drink first. Yeah, so this year we're doing something a little bit different.
Mm-hmm.
We sent out feelers to see who all would be interested. Hopefully these people listen, because that would more than, I don't even know, octuple our listeners.
Yeah, I think we'd go from 1 to like 10, 11.
Yeah, and so we've got you and I, Obs, Eric's, my lovely wife Nikita, Walters, Aaron. Is that Kyle Jevnager?
That is the Kyle Jevnager.
Jesse, Derek, and Jordan Bates.
Very good.
And T.
Yep.
And
Swanee himself.
Jalen. All right. Yeah, so, and then we have a giant spreadsheet set up, which is why it took me so long to read the names, because I had to scroll.
Scrolling is difficult.
Locks are going to be 1 point. Upsets are worth 2. We have $10 on the line. Winner take 10. Loser, me. If I lose, I get the rest.
Seems legit.
And then at the end of the season, whoever has the most takes all, I think, right?
Correct. It's winner take all after week 17.
Yep. Everybody, most of us have our picks in now. Are missing a few, but they have until Sunday at 11:30, I believe you said?
11, yes.
11.
Yep.
And so I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a nice kind of change of pace. I did hear from some people they want it to be a little bit more fantasy and football oriented, not just narrow casting to our league, which I think is something we could do, which is kind of what this is.
Who said that? You?
No, I think it was just in passing. Somebody on the streets recognized me.
Yeah, they recognize your face from the art that Levi put together.
Yeah. No, it might have been Walters.
Well, fuck Walters. We won the podcast wars. Who is he to tell us what to do?
Well, I felt bad for him. He was out on the corner shaking a tin can for change.
Understandable. So yeah, I mean that's Josh explained it well. Josh and I did locks and upsets last year. I love Fox pregame show. I might like it more than some of the football games on Sundays.
That's legit.
So I wanted to emulate them. I think We're going to keep it to one lock and one upset. I think they just do 2 games. You can do 2 locks if you want, 2 upsets if you want, but I think I'm going to keep it just 1 and 1. And then I mentioned I might open it up to 2 upsets so people in the bottom halfway through the season or whatever can catch up. But we'll see how she goes.
Yeah, I would say at week 13 is when it opens up. Then that would be just kind of a set thing, and anybody can do it because then you're risking points if you're in the lead, and then you're rewarding yourself if you get 2 upsets correct.
Well, Josh, luckily for me, this is a dictatorship and not a democracy, so we'll see what I say.
I can help.
No.
And this is where we segue into we are now accepting applications for new co-hosts.
Do they have to know how to produce the podcast?
Yes, they do. No, that's fine. I don't care. We are also still doing the stud duds, not as intense as what the lock upsets are for obvious reasons. Math is hard. But if you do feel like contributing to these stud duds, kind of flexing your knowledge on this, go ahead, send those numbers or send those people and the projections over to Gar or myself, or the email, or the website, or the Facebook, or the Twitter, or the Instagram. We don't have those.
Don't have Twitter and Instagram, no.
2019 Gar. Snapchat?
Nope. All it would be is my personal Snapchat account. I guess. I don't know what.
But yeah, so just send it to us in some way. Carrier pigeon.
Carrier pigeon. Don't put them around my fucking house. Have we got the advertising on that? Ranch will. What's that?
Did we get the carrier pigeon advertising with the little tattoos on their wings?
This one?
When you work on your mysterious lady part stuff, you should have the right tools too. So that's why you should use Maypax, the official tampon of NASCAR.
Yeah, no, one.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Excellent.
No, so yeah, just send those over. And I know last year we had 4 contributors, and we didn't even start till like week 5. So
yeah, Studs and Duds was new.
But yeah, so that'll be another option for people to participate.
All right. Before we get too crazy here, do you just want to go over your lock and upset pick for the week, Josh? For week 1?
No, because I just wanted to copy what you said. No, I had Minnesota as my lock. Like I said earlier, they're kind of always winners ever since the 49ers game a few years ago. They've been winning week 1 because I don't know, their defense is good. And yeah, my upset, I had the Bills over the Jets because I think the Bills are going to be sneaky good, and their defense is solid. The Jets have a solid defense, and I think Sam Darnold's actually going to be a surprise to a lot of people this year. But I just think that the Bills are going to upset the Jets.
Yeah, and coincidentally, those are exactly my lock and upset picks as well. I got Minnesota over Atlanta and Buffalo over the Jets. I'll let the record show I also put mine in before Josh, although I don't think he would put in the energy to copy me, but let the record show. And then, yeah, we have, Nikita has similar picks. We got Eric's who thinks Atlanta's going to upset. Fuck that guy, Mr. Latvia. Walters is in. He's got Seattle over Cincy and San Fran over Tampa Bay. And that pretty much ends the list of who listens to us. So, yeah, we can stop there. But
all right. Perfect.
All right. So, Josh, next up is everyone's favoritely named segment, Generalistic Fantasy.
Whoa, we changed the name.
What do you mean?
It should be Fantasy Fun Time.
That's what you named the spreadsheet. That doesn't mean that's what the segment is named.
Well, I don't know how to make a transfer.
What?
I have a sounder for it.
No, you don't.
Yeah, I do.
Keyboard is coincidentally not on, as always.
Yeah, okay, well, Vikings are terrible.
It's Fantasy Fun Time. Boop. There it is.
That was the greatest sounder of all time.
Absolutely.
Oh, God.
So we already did the stud dud contribution encouragement. 2019. Funny, Gar.
just you.
2019 season studs and duds. We each picked 4. I went through and I looked at your list, kind of cringed at some, kind of nodded at others. And I noticed you did kind of what we discussed on the phone last night with tight end, wide receiver, running back, quarterback. I don't know if it worked out that way just on accident.
I mean, it kind of like I was starting out with my duds, and then like as it went, I think I had one of each, and then I was going to do like a second wide receiver. I was like, I'll just do one of each position because why not?
Yeah, so I did the same thing, and I just did position wise. And so, did you want to start with this one? I feel like I've talked too much in a row now.
Sure. I mean, I'll go with one stud and one dud. We can just kind of go back and forth.
Yeah.
I'll start with tight end because that's what's on the top of my list. For stud, I really, really like Darren Waller this year. I think he's going to be a top 5 tight end. Hot take. I think John Gruden's offense is really going to complement him. Luke Wilson got cut, so he's really got no tight end competition to speak of in Oakland. I don't know why everyone's sleeping on him so much. I think he's going to be the surprise like George Kittle was last year. He's currently projected on the year in full PPR only 120 points, which I think is ridiculous. I think he'll be up in the Travis Kelce's projected 280. So Darren Waller's at least going to surpass 200. I'm thinking he's in the 250 range. We'll see. But then speaking of duds, Travis Kelce, I just mentioned his projection because I have him as my dud. Dude's projected 281 in full PPR. I think there's no way. I think he's going to get hurt or something bad's going to happen. I'm not wishing for him to get hurt, but that man is, despite he has plenty of talent, but I don't think he's just going to put it together this year.
Yeah, I told you on the phone who I was going to put in my stud for tight end. I have Mark Andrews.
Yeah, shocking.
Currently,
you have him on every single fantasy team you have, I think?
Currently projected at 134.7, 135, I guess, if you want to round up. Another individual similar to Waller. I do like Waller as well, but Mark Andrews, in some of the readings that I've done by actual NFL people.
Well, that was your first mistake. It's all about truthiness, Josh. We've talked about this.
Yeah, it affected my truthiness. They said he's got the potential to be the next George Kittle. So,
okay, continue.
I mean, he led all rookie tight ends last year. So, he's decent. Lamar Jackson doesn't know how to throw the ball more than 10 yards.
Name one other good rookie tight end from last year.
All of them. They were all superstars.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, I just think that he's going to do more than 134.7. My dud for tight ends is actually someone I did not want to put down. But it's actually kind of a risky dud, but Hunter Henry. I put him as a dud, even though he's only projected 164.1. Coming off ACL injury, that Chargers offense has a lot of mouths to feed, even without Melvin Gordon. That's going to be... even though Rivers likes to throw the ball, he likes to show off that cannon because his kids are in the stand, section 113, all of them.
The whole section.
Yeah. And then, that injury, and I think that they're just going to kind of ease him into it. Next.
Yeah, I was trying to see if I had a further thought on Hunter Henry, but I don't know. To 164 seems about right to me. He's certainly not going to be top 5, but... he'll have some production.
And you think Darren Waller is going to be?
Josh, just you fucking wait. You're going to have... I don't know what the right phrase is, but you're going to look silly. All right, so next we got wide receivers. I got Will Fuller as my stud this year. Dude's only projected 138.3. Of course, his health is a question mark. I'm thinking it won't be this year. I'm thinking this man does well for himself. So I think he's going to be a stud and certainly surpass the 138. My dud is Julio Jones. Dude's getting up there in age. I don't like the Falcons. I could go on and on. Julio Jones is certainly a stud, but 286 is what he's projected right now in full PPR, and I think there's just no way. So that's why he's my dud.
I just about read your next person. For wide receivers on me, my stud, I put Marquise Goodwin. Projected a measly 76.3 despite being one of the starting wideouts on the outside in that San Fran offense. He missed a lot of time last year due to injury, but before that, he was a top 5 or in the 5th. He was drafted in the early 5th round last year. I speaky no goody. And so I think he has a lot of potential to surpass that 76.3 in week 3 alone, by week 3 alone. That was a joke, by the way, Gar. You're supposed to.
I know. I was looking for a soundbite I wanted to play, but I was too
if you're
slow.
looking at the rankings for, the sound bites. Here, I got one.
Yeah, okay, well, the Vikings are terrible.
That's exactly the one I was going to play. How'd you know?
My dud for wide receivers, I picked Julian Edelman. Similar reasons as you. He's getting up there in age. He's currently injured. He hurt his finger. But that shouldn't affect his play at all. They've got some mouths to feed over there in New England. Sony Michel, James White, they're both catching passes out of the backfield, I guess. They've got Josh Gordon, who's now reinstated and able to play. I know you hate him.
I don't hate him. You build Josh Gordon up to here. So if I say, nah, Josh Gordon's actually here, that looks like hating him, even though hating him would really be here. You just build him up way too fucking high.
Excuse me for having compassion for someone going through hard times, Gar.
Is that what it is?
He is a young African-American male with a struggling drug addiction who is trying to make his way in the NFL. And you're over here trying to kick dirt at him.
I've never once kicked dirt at him. All I've said is he's not the greatest fantasy player of all time that you make him out to be.
I never said he was either.
Josh, we've had this conversation multiple times.
I did say that once. Anyways, dud Julian Edelman. I just don't think he's going to be able to put up 257 points like he's projected.
Right. Oh, by the way, this is the sound check I wanted to play. It's not relevant now, but
I was checking the specs on the end line for the rotary girder. I'm retarded.
Yeah. So Ronald Jones, we got running backs next. I got Ronald Jones as my stud. He's projected 95.7 this year. I think that's ridiculous. I think he's going to be kind of, not the exact same as David Johnson, but I think he's going to be that breakout candidate in that Arians offense. DJ was certainly not the starter when he came around, but he real quick became the stud of that Arians offense. I think Ronald Jones is going to do the same thing. Peyton Barber is certainly no one to hold him back. So I think Ronald Jones takes over real quick and surpasses 95 by a lot.
You are forgetting about Dare Okeechobee, or whatever his last name is.
That sounds made up.
He is their number 2 back.
Again, that doesn't even sound like a real person to me.
Well, play some Madden.
No. I still haven't purchased the game. And then for duds, running backs, I got Joe Mixon. I don't have any logical or factual reason for picking Joe Mixon as my dud. He's projected 268.4 in fantasy. This was just a straight truthiness pick. I was just going through the list of players and their projections last night, and I was like, Joe Mixon, 270? No fucking chance. It's pretty much all the thought I put into it. I just don't like the Bengals. And Joe Mixon, I feel like they're just going to rely on him too much. And that's it. That's all I got.
That's pretty solid. I think that he is going to... I don't think he's going to get too much more than 268, but I don't think he's going to be anywhere... I don't think he's going to be like below 220, 230. But I do think that they're going to rely on him a lot because Andy Dalton is Andy Dalton. And then AJ Green is going to be missing some time. For my running backs, I had Darius Geis as my stud. He's only projected 180 right now, but he is coming off of, he's got fresh legs after an ACL tear last year. And then they just came out and said today that he's going to be getting a ton of touches, and AP is going to be watching from the sideline. My dud for running back, Devonta Freeman. He's projected 243 right now. I don't think he's ever played a full season due to injury. He is the lone back now, Ito Smith, and then a rookie kind of nipping at it on his heels. He's a great running back, but I do not think he's going to put up 243 points.
Yeah, dude just doesn't stay healthy enough. Yeah, I have to agree with you on that one. All right, so finally, I got quarterbacks. So we were talking about them earlier. Well, actually, I don't know if we talked about him earlier, but Jimmy Garoppolo is my stud quarterback this year. He's currently projected 236. Quarterbacks are always the highest scorers in your team, unless you got like the best player at any position. But I think 236 is low for Garoppolo. Again, this is pending a full healthy season. But Kyle Shanahan, he's got Tevin Coleman who can catch the ball well. He's got Marquise. He's got George Kittle. He's got Dante Pettis, Deebo Samuel. I mean, this guy has plenty of ways to get the ball out. So it's just a matter of him to realize it, and I think he will. For dud, kind of a dig at Josh, kind of just a realistic expectation, Aaron Rodgers. He's currently projected just shy of 300 points, 299.6. And I'll just keep, I'm a broken record on this pod, but I always say Aaron Rodgers' best days are behind him, and I believe that, not to be a dick, but just as far as, fantasy relevance go, that's what this is about. This is about whether or not you're going to, hit your fantasy projections. I don't think so. So, yeah, that's why I got Aaron Rodgers as my dud.
I do believe Aaron Rodgers was a top 10 quarterback last year, so... I don't know if he's going to hit 300 just because it sounds like they're going to try and do more run offense, but who knows? I think he could hit that, and then, week 3, start just adding to that number.
Top 10's not crazy, but in all the, we just did a lot of fantasy drafts, and Aaron Rodgers, I think, was always like the QB3 and everything I saw, which I think that's too high. So,
okay. I mean, yeah. You know how I feel about Jimmy Garoppolo.
You're his number one fan, Josh.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm his number one fan of getting benched. Anyways, my quarterback stud, I have Sam Darnold. I already mentioned it earlier in this podcast. I think he's going to have a good season, a good sophomore year. He's currently projected just shy of 240. I do think that with Bell, that's going to add another pass catcher. Ty Montgomery's another pass catcher out of the backfield. He's going to gel with that offense a little bit more. Roby Anderson can stretch the field. Quincy Enunwa, he's a person. And then I just think that he was showing some signs last year. My dud, Carson Wentz. Sorry, Jesse. He is currently projected 293.5. I don't think that he will get there just because injury concerns. They lost some weapons on that team. They have a rookie running back. They have 4 running backs. And he can only throw the ball to Zach Ertz so many times.
I mean, for what it's worth, a lot of teams have 4 running backs. I don't know how unique that is, but
Does Minnesota have?
Bro, I mean, so running backs.
I guess if you count the fullback.
Yeah, that's 4 right there.
All right, whatever. Go on.
All right, so that was all our studs and duds for the season. I probably should have said this at the beginning for anyone who actually cares and is trying to check our numbers, which is literally no one, but our fan... Or no, never mind. That's our Dynasty League. Our passing settings are the exact same as normal. So never mind. I was going to say it's different, but it's not. All right. So next we have, we just did the 2019 predicted positional leaders. So that's quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end. Just who we think is going to be the top guy at that position. And we said this is going to be rapid fire. So I'm just going to go down my list, and then Josh can go down his list. So, number 1, quarterback. I got Deshaun Watson is going to be QB1 this year. I think Mahomes regresses. I think the Andy Reid offense, he's been reinventing himself throughout his career, but I think he gets figured out enough for Mahomes to go bad, and Watson goes hard. Running back, kind of a hot take. I got Dalvin Cook. If this man stays healthy, I think he's going to light it up this year, and that's what we're going with. I'm not going to read Josh's comment that he tried to plant a trap card there and think I had to read the prompter like Ron Burgundy, but I will not. Dalvin Cook, running back 1 this year. Wide receiver 1, I mentioned it earlier, Antonio Brown. Dude was almost a wide receiver 1 last year. Everyone, I shouldn't say everyone, but certainly the media has been blowing out all his off the field issues out of proportion, in my opinion. So I think this dude's going to be wide receiver 1. He's the most talented receiver in the league. Tight end, I went with the safe pick, and I picked George Kittle, just because I honestly don't know enough about the landscape of tight ends to pick someone bolder. But I think George Kittle was a stud last year, and if Jimmy G stays healthy, I think he'll be just slightly more studly.
All right. I agreed with Deshaun Watson. I think he has a lot of weapons on offense, so I think that he's going to do well. And I think he's going to be a top finish for a quarterback. My running back, I had Christian McCaffrey. I think he's going to get 400. I think he's going to be the Le'Veon Bell of the Panthers with 400 touches, 100 catches, just tons of yards. If I were to bet next year's Christian McCaffrey is going to be the number 1 overall fantasy pick.
Sure.
Yep. Wide receiver, I picked Devonta Adams because being almost wide receiver 1 doesn't necessarily make you wide receiver 1. Adams definitely finished ahead of Antonio Brown last year, and I believe that he has nowhere to go but up. I think he's the only wide receiver to have posted consecutive games in PPR with 16-plus points all season. I don't know. Making things up. I hear things. But no, I think if you run routes crisp enough to make Chad Ochocinco cry, then you are pretty good at what you do. Zach Ertz, I picked him because he's butt buddies with Wentz. So if Carson Wentz gets 280 points, then Zach Ertz is going to have 280 catches because they're butt buddies.
But does Ertz stay on the field all 16 games this year?
Does George Kittle?
Oh, yeah.
Then, oh, yeah.
All right, perfect. I think one was proven to be more fragile than the other, but I do think Ertz had more of a target share last year. Okay, so that's all we got for our yearly predictions. Next, we have just the studs and duds of the week. I assume, Josh, did that. Yes, he did. And I'm not going to put in the numbers for Erics and Walters now. We can do it in retrospect. But Josh, go ahead with your studs and duds for week 1.
My stud, I have Kerryon Johnson, projected 15 points in PPR. I think that offense is going to run through him. Stafford's getting up there in age. Wide receivers have got some decent pass catchers out there, but Kerryon Johnson showed promise when he was healthy last year. Missed the last couple of weeks. Arizona's run defense is 33rd in the league. So I think that Kerryon's going to feast week 1. My dud, I put Nick Chubb, because I think that they're going to try and show off Baker Mayfield a little bit, get the ball out, get Odell his touches, get Jarvis his touches, get Njoku his touches, and also because Nick Chubb's on my fantasy team.
Excellent.
And so is Kerryon Johnson.
All right. So for my stud this week, I went with Vance McDonald just because I thought his projection was hella low, only 9.6. We're in a full PPR league, so I don't know, that's 3 catches for 0 yards and a touchdown, maybe, or 3 catches for 60 yards. That's nothing. So the New England Pittsburgh games are normally shootouts. I know one thing I've been saying consistently is that New England's usually bad the first couple weeks, so that might be the case. Maybe this game is less of a shootout just because New England, I don't know, doesn't care about the first couple games every year. But so I think he'll surpass his projection. My dud, Tyreek Hill. Again, I'm just kind of staying on form of saying that the Chiefs and the Rams, the hot offenses from last year, are going to regress just because they get figured out a little bit. So I just don't think Tyreek Hill is going to get 17.3 in week 1. I'll do Eric's, and then you can do Walters. So Eric's, he submitted a stud of Devonta Freeman. I didn't put in his projection because Eric's provided me a half PPR one. I figured we'd just keep them all with the full PPR from our redraft league, so I'll put that in later. And then his dud, he picked James White. And actually, I'm going to give the man the respect he deserves, and he sent me reasoning. So I'm just going to pull out the messenger message and read his reasoning. Give me 30 seconds.
Because Sony Michel is going to take more third downs this season.
All right, so stud, Devonta Freeman. I like Freeman this year. If he can stay healthy, he could finish as a top 5 fantasy running back. He's in one of the best offenses in the league, and he doesn't have Tevin Coleman to steal goal line work from him. That's what he said. So for dud, James White. I think it's all Sony Michel in the backfield with some Damian Harris sprinkled in. Maybe we'll get some third down work, but Brady will use Edelman and Gordon more for those situations. Sell White while you still can.
This man's a genius.
Is it just because he agrees with you?
Yep.
Well, that's all I need to hear.
He had stud Devonta Freeman. He said top 5 running back. I had him as my dud, but that is mostly because injury. Otherwise, yeah, if he stays healthy all year, he'll probably be a top 5 running back.
This is the part where you read Walter's studs and duds.
Walters picked Aaron Jones as his stud because, he likes to ruin things that I like. And so the joke is whatever Walters says, the opposite happens. So Aaron Jones, he's this week's stud against the Bears. What, mediocre defense you'd say?
I don't think it's going to be as good as last year. I've been saying that a lot.
Well, I mean, it's hard to repeat what they did last year. I do agree because when you replace Adrian Amos with Clinton Dix, the most fortunate interception man of all time. I love Clinton Dix. I think he's great. I think his last name's funny. But if you watch his interceptions from last year when he was in Green Bay, almost all of them were due to really, really bad throws or tipped passes. It wasn't necessarily him making a play. He was in the right spot, right time. I could make those interceptions and then fall down crying so I don't get hit. His dud was David Johnson. I think that's a bold pick for week 1 against the Lions. I don't think the Lions defense is that good. I do think they're going to try and utilize David Johnson any way possible. He led running backs in touches and on-field snap percentage last year. So they definitely used him in that offense. Even with this new coach, I think that they're going to use a lot of dump-offs to David Johnson just because they're going to try and get Kyler a little comfortable. So nice try, Walters.
All right, so that ends the Generalistic Fantasy segment. And before we move into the next thing, I just want to read aloud a funny text I just got from Mr. Andrew Hammer. So I've been sending out the text to all the people like, hey, are you interested in the league? And then, or in the pick'em pool, essentially locks and upsets. And I sent out a reminder today to anyone who didn't respond to me yesterday. And this is the reply I got from Hammer. Sorry, man, I will have to opt out this time. We've had a real busy week. If you're doing another pick'em pool down the road, I'm in. Much love. I just liked how he ended that. Much love.
So, Hammer, should we chalk you down for 2020?
I think that's exactly what he said. Because that would be down the road. And as long as he doesn't have a busy week, I think we're golden.
Sounds good.
All right, so Josh, I'm going to write down the segment start time, but I will honestly say I don't know what the segment is. I left you a note that says, Josh, what? And then your message was, I don't know, might take too much time, or too much work, might skip. So we can read the side back for the Hidden Oaks Redraft League, but...
Yeah, no, we'll just... we'll forget about what I said. Okay. I was just saying the games to watch. I was going to try and look up, see which games would be good ones to watch for us to get the most fantasy value, so we could watch the most players. And then I realized that was stupid because football is football, and you should just watch it.
Not often will you hear Josh go back on his previous thoughts and go, "That was stupid," but
I do that every day.
You might think it to yourself, but I don't think you verbalize it a lot.
Nah, that's probably true.
But I appreciated that. So do you even know who you played this week? Because I have no idea. I'm trying to look it up right now. Oh, I played Jamie.
I play Nate.
Are you projected to win?
Nope.
I'm projected to lose by 2.
I'm projected to lose by 10.
Are you? I'm looking it up right now to confirm and see if Josh is a winner or a loser or a liar. What the hell is your name? Ronald Chubby Johnson? You are projected to lose by 10. Ooh, how'd your team get so bad?
Well, he has Saquon, who's projected 400 points, I think, week 1.
I mean, 23.1, sure.
I don't know. My team's just bad. I also have Mark Andrews in my tight end spot, and ESPN doesn't have him as the top 5 tight end he's going to finish as.
That's weird. Why do you think they don't have him as the top 5 tight end?
Probably the same reason they don't have Darren Waller as a top 5 tight end.
Because they're fucking idiots?
Duh!
All right, someone's ears are bleeding right now. All right, well, I mean, that was that segment, I guess. I'd put down...
Well, hot start. Highest score this week gets
sorry.
the side bet. So, highest total score from your starting players. Pretty easy one to track, so I appreciate it.
Who were you saying you appreciate it to?
I said I appreciate it.
I know, but you just appreciate that it's easy to track?
Yeah, because when I go through and I set up the spreadsheet for next week, when we read the winner, all I have to do is look for the highest score. I could just skip it and do it on the... Oh, boy.
Sorry, keep going. Keep talking.
Just do it on the old fly,
Or speaking of doing stuff on the fly, I was going to sneak in, this is not the next segment, but I was going to sneak in just mine and Eric's game in the BSB League. So I play Edgar's. I'm projected to win 101 to 92.3. I got Saquon on that team, so we'll see how I do. Let's see if I can find Eric's matchup. Eric's has a closer matchup than me. He is currently projected to win 111 to 105. He's got Matt Ryan. He's got Zeke, so that man must... let out a load today of Zeke signing that contract and just, cream fraiche, He's also got Antonio Brown, Adam Thielen, Evan Ingram, Mike Williams, Kerryon Johnson. How the fuck does this guy have the starting lineup?
He good.
I feel like I'm in a lot of leagues where commissioners just seem to set themselves up for success. Okay, so the next segment, I'm going to write down the start time, and it's a surprise to Josh. Maybe not if you were to just put like 10 seconds of critical thought into it, and that's not 49.50, that's 42.50. But, it's definitely not a Skype phone call to someone, and I'm trying to get out the number. And they told me to text them to see if they'd be available.
They've done studies. That's 60% of the time.
That's going to be annoying.
It works.
It's just going to keep happening, isn't it?
You have an absolutely breathtaking hiney.
No, it's not even working, Josh. This is the worst segment of all time.
An absolutely
seen that one coming.
breathtaking hiney.
I didn't even want this segment. This segment was asked of me, Josh.
Is it Walters?
No.
Can we cut? Probably too busy giving away good or bad takes.
Here was the possible excuse he gave me. So he wanted me to text him first to see if he'd be free. And the excuse he gave is that he might... Oh.
Sorry I can't take your call right now, but if you leave your name, your number, and a brief message, or shoot me a text message, I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Thanks.
At the tone, please record your message. When you have finished recording, you may hang up or press 1 for more options.
What we're dealing with here is a complete lack of respect for the law.
Ah, you breaking my balls here, huh? You breaking my balls.
Throw me a frickin' bone here. I'm the boss. Need the info.
What the heck are you guys doing? Trying to ruin my life and make me look like a friggin' idiot?
Well, that might be the greatest.
a bunch of losers in Minnesota.
That's going to be the greatest voicemail of all time. He said to call back, so I guess we'll see.
Hello.
That was a quick answer. You were ready that time, buddy.
I was ready.
All right. Well, I don't know what you wanted to say, but here we are with, at least top 5 Hood Pod fan, if not, top 3. We can't give him top 1 cred, but you know how it goes.
Yeah. When he listens in Latvia, he can be top 1.
Why can't I be 1?
Well, I get you don't listen from Mother Russia, and you're not Josh's wife, so that automatically disqualifies you in his world. I don't know. I guess that puts you at number 3. Was that a burp? It sounded like a fucking demon. But yeah,
I'm actually here at the studio from the Land of 10,000 Pods podcast that me and Jack just wrapped up. So that'll be dropping down on the airwaves. Shameless plug right here. Coming up. So.
Oh, what do you know? It's already been deleted.
Hey Walters, how's business doing?
I don't know. We didn't have a business segment.
Show me the money!
Yeah, you told me to call you, man.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, that's it. I want you to talk now. Beautiful.
I thought I was playing Josh this week because I saw our matchup, but then I realized that this is week 1 and it's our free-for-all week, so I do not play Josh week 1. And I was going to talk some shit to Josh, but then I went back and looked at some stats, and I really don't have any ground to stand on for talking shit.
This might be the single greatest call-in segment in podcast history.
My team's straight out of rehab.
The worst for me.
So you said it's a free-for-all week. I understand what that means, but so you don't think your team will score more points than Josh, even if you're not playing him?
That's a no.
Josh isn't going to like this, but I think Josh is one of the scariest teams in our league.
Scary bad, right? That's what you mean?
No, as in scary good. Like, I don't want to...
What was the punishment again this year? Should I just start practicing?
We are doing, what is it? We're doing combine drills for our league.
Combine drills? Sounds like you guys are going to need a coach with a clipboard present for that.
No. You know, what we're going to need, since it's going to be videoed, we'll have Al bring the audio. Actually, you can bring it. I want you to set up everything, and I want you to make like an audio recording commentating on the person doing the cone drills.
Live commentary.
The combine drills.
That I think would be the true punishment, is me recording that while you guys do the drills and then making everyone sit down and listen to that. That's the real punishment there.
So I'll reach out to my buddy Tony and see if he can come down. He's got a job with CBS, but he might have some time.
That's CVS or CBS?
B.
Mr. Romo himself?
Yeah.
You know Rome?
I know Rome.
Bro, he's about to be a free agent asking for $10 million.
Right?
That's a lot of fucking money. How much do you think Bradshaw gets for the pre-show?
Well, considering he's drunk, probably just a 6-pack.
He just wanders onto set.
Yep.
Walters, do you have a favorite commentating personality?
Milwaukee's best.
Oh, Milwaukee's best. That's a Bradshaw beer if I ever saw one. But so Walters, what I was trying to ask while you're so rudely talking is, do you have a favorite commentator that isn't named Tony Romo?
Yeah. I'm a big fan of Sunday night NBC guy, Chris Collinsworth. I like him a lot, actually. I know
Just
some
hang
people
up.
hate on him, and he loves everybody, but he's actually really good in my opinion. I just like that whole team in general.
Is it because he's your doppelganger?
Possibly. I mean, that factors into it. I have just a thorough hatred for Fox Crew. God,
Joe
there's
Buck.
another one out there. I can't even. Yeah, Joe Buck. Go Joe Buck yourself. That's what I say.
Joe Buck yourself. That should be a sounder on your show. Joe Buck yourself.
Speaking of sounders, Garlic, I want you
to
meet me over at Alex's house someday, and I want you to cut some sound drops for me. I want you to be the voice that introduces some of our segments for our podcast. Would you be down for that?
I'd be down for that.
You'd be the only one listening. He'd be listening to himself talk.
Well, you're goddamn right, Josh. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy.
I mean, I think, and Josh, this is no offense to you, but I just think that Garlic has one of the best voices around here in the Twin Cities. So suck it, PA. Suck it, everybody at the Fan. Garlic is the guy you want.
You know, I couldn't agree more, and I hope they listen to this and offer me a big fat radio contract. If I could pick any co-host of mine, I'd be on with Common at 12 to 3 because I think that's the sweet spot. But, you know.
Yeah. Commonwealth, for sure.
For sure. So, Walters, you talked, well, I mean, since this is kind of just a nonsense segment, you talked about the land of 10,000 pods earlier. Do you want to talk about your schedule or where people can find you or when they can listen?
Yeah, sure. This year, I'm going to be, for our league members, I'm going to have it all available on Google Drive for you guys. So you can
for your league members, huh?
Save it if you want. What's that?
That for your league members, huh? That seems racist.
Yeah, but then I will also be releasing it onto SoundCloud for everyone else who is not a part of our league, and they can listen. The only reason I wanted to do it on Google Drive for our league members because if for some stupid reason they ever wanted to go back and re-listen to an old episode, it will always be there. Since we are operating on a $0 budget here, I am not paying for any sort of subscription service to be able to have all my podcasts on there. So, the SoundCloud only gives you it only gives you so many hours to be able to host your content. So, to everyone who's not in the league, you can find us on SoundCloud at THEE Otherwise, Victoria's Secret League members, you can just find it in our GroupMe chat.
Excellent. Josh, I'm definitely not going to have you send me that link to his Google Drive. And so you said, what are you doing, every 4 weeks until the playoffs, or what's the schedule again?
Yeah, so with a lot going on since I'm getting married this
excuses,
fall.
Excuses.
Yeah, so we are, Jack Vickers and I, another league member, we are releasing our podcast once a month up until the playoffs. And then once the playoffs hit, it's going to be a weekly podcast.
Beautiful. That sounds excellent. So there's going to be absolutely zero crossover fans that aren't me, but just give us a little taste. So I understand you recorded before this right now. Just give the fans a little taste of what we can expect from a Vickers Walters podcast.
Yeah. So have you ever heard of a game called This or That, or maybe the Name Game?
I've definitely heard of a This or That. Maybe a name game.
So we essentially, one of our segments was we went through our draft and we picked two players that were drafted right next to each other and which ones we would have. But since we wanted to be a completely original podcast, right on the spot on the air, I came up with the Tim or Jim game. So do you either want Tim or do you want Jim? So that's going to be one of our bids.
Yes! Yes!
Well, Dak, here's the deal. I'm the best there is, plain and simple. I mean, I wake up in the morning, I piss excellence.
That wasn't even the sounder I was looking for, but I think that's somehow better than what I was going to play, so I'm going to leave it like that.
That's fantastic. I got Alex here. He's kind of listening, and he's just shaking his head and laughing at me like I'm a total tool.
Well, tell Alex he's the tool. I still love him, but, you know.
Right on.
Anything else you want to say, Walters? We'll probably wrap up here, but I will gladly let you say or speak or pitch or anything else you want. Now's your chance.
I think the Packers are going to win tomorrow, unfortunately.
Oh, that means the Packers. What? Aaron Rodgers out for the season, week 1? Is that what I just heard, Josh? Josh, you know you can talk. We do this podcast together. You can just instead of playing games on your phone the whole time. All right. Apparently, he's just going to play games on his phone.
Oh, I was going to say, I hope he's not like hanging himself with his headphone cable right now because I said the Packers were going to win.
Like you read my mind.
All right. I don't have anything else. I really appreciate you letting me on your guys' podcast, and I can't wait to listen back tonight and see what you guys got.
Oh, well, we were glad to have you, and I know, Josh didn't talk a whole lot. Maybe we can get you back sometime. You can actually talk trash against Josh. We'll see. But that's all we got for now. Again, that's Ryan Walters, a.k.a. Mr. Jalters. You can find him everywhere. Love you, Ryan.
Love you, Ryan. Bye.
So, Josh, great surprise segment or the greatest surprise segment of all time?
I was going to say something about it, but
nothing?
But nothing.
Gotcha. All right. Well, I think that's all we got, folks. I'm going to slip into the outro here. What? I mean, the first bullet in outro was final words. You got anything else you want to say for the pod, Josh? You excited for the fantasy year? You excited for week 1? You excited for NFL?
I took the next 6 months off work.
6 months? The NFL ends the first week of February.
I need something to come down. I need some time to come down from this high.
So that's
you think Josh Gordon got high? Just wait till tomorrow. That's me.
I suppose you'll just be watching the game at home. No B-dubs trip in the future.
I don't think I'd be allowed. My dad invited me to go out, play some bingo with the fam, and watch it at the bar. But to be honest, I'm not someone you should be in public with during the Packers-Bears game.
All right, well, you heard it there first, folks. One other thing I wanted to sneak in, I should have got it in 2 weeks ago, but Josh and I obviously predicted all 256 games of the year. I also projected my playoff bracket, and I'm too lazy to pull up whatever the spreadsheet said, but I can tell you that my 2 Super Bowl teams, shocker, are the Chargers and the Vikings, and I had the Chargers beating the Vikings in Super Bowl 54. I want to say it's 54 this year, but so that's what I got. Josh, do you want to throw in your Super Bowl prediction before the season kicks off tomorrow?
I'm going to go with Cleveland over the Eagles.
Cleveland over the Eagles, huh? I thought for sure you're going to throw in the Saints, but maybe not if they're losing to the Browns. What does that say? Josh correcting his prediction. Is that what you were just doing there?
Yep.
In the outro? That was beautiful. All right. Well, just one last time. HiddenOaksOverdose@gmail.com, Facebook.com/HoodPod. We love engagement. We love you guys for reaching out and continuing to reach out. I will go through and thank Nikita for listening, Ryan Walters, who you heard earlier, Eric Kesteris, Eric Landvik, Jamie Hammer. I was almost going to say Morset, but that's not true. Jamie Hammer, Levi Oki is allegedly a listener, and Zach, a.k.a. Titan, a.k.a. Titan. I don't know what else I was going to say.
I guess he did post something. When's the pod dropping? And I said, 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. So, yeah.
But, he's in North Kakalaki. They're 3 years behind anyways, so.
3 years behind? That's generous. I got my boss lives in North Kakalaki, and that dude's at least 10 years behind, so.
Yeah?
And I'm going to stop there.
Sounds
Bye,
good.
everybody.
Bye.
Ugh. Leave it to Walters to think he plays you this week. Ask me to call him.
Ruin our life?
No, he definitely didn't ruin our life. That was a funny segment. I think it was better than him actually talking trash to you.
Yeah. He was projected to beat me, though.
Yeah. The best part is I know Walters listens to this part where we talk while the music's playing, so he'll hear that. You play him next week? Is that what you just said?
No, I play him. That's his manual entrance.
busy playing fucking. What are you playing right now? Do you still play Galaxy Quest? Dude, you are addicted.